Welcome to Fueling Your Legacy, hosted by Samuel Knickerbocker. Each week, we expose the faulty foundational mindsets of the past and rebuild a new, stronger foundation essential in creating your legacy. We've got a lot of work to do, so let's get started. Welcome back to Fueling Your Legacy. We are super excited to be on today. This week has been a ride talking about mindsets and how we can get out of a fixed mindset into a growth mindset. I'm super excited to bring you the guest for this week. Her name is Amanda. I always mess up her last name, to be honest. She may just have to help us out with her last name.
Jakubowski.
Jakubowski. Perfect. But her and I first met on Facebook actually a few months ago, and I got to know her story, and kind of some of the struggles that she's been through. And through it all, know her and talk to her more and more. She just is absolutely positive and has been able to have a positive view on life, no matter what her challenges are. And she's been a light to not just me, but to everyone around her. So I'm super excited to have her on and let her share her story with you guys and help you understand that there is a way to look at everything. Even when you think everything is the worst that it's ever been, there's still a way to look at it positively. So thank you so much, Amanda. And let's just jump right in. Can you share just a little bit of your backstory and how you got the disease that you have and what that's been like?
Yeah, thank you for having me, by the way. It was October of 2010 that I got the disease. But prior to that, I had been working in a doctor's office, living a fairly healthy life. I had worked for the same doctor for about 10 years and was living in Georgia at the time. Lived a completely normal life. Got up, went to work every day, enjoyed life, traveled, and just really enjoying life. Had just gotten married. So we were just living, a very good life. And then one morning I just woke up and I was sick and never knew that I would never get better. I woke up just feeling like I had the stomach flu and I was just really sick. And from that moment until today, I still deal with the same ailments that I was dealing with back in 2010 when I first got sick. But I still try to make the best of it. I still try to live a normal day life. No, I can't get up and go to work every single day like I would love to do. But I do, try to make the best out of every situation. Whatever's handed to me, I try to make the best situation out of it. So, but before I got sick, traveling, spending time with family, friends, going out, just living a normal life. Going to work every day, enjoying it, just living like a normal person.
That's incredible. And so what exactly is the disease, and how did it affect, what have been the effects, the long-term effects of it?
Well, I have a couple of different diseases that I have been diagnosed with over the last couple of years. I have gastroparesis, which is delayed emptying of the stomach or paralysis of the stomach, which means when you try to eat food, you do not digest your food properly, or some people cannot digest at all. I am one who cannot digest at all and have to be tube fed. Some people are different and can still eat small meals and can still consume food, where I cannot. I have to take mine in through a bag that is special formulated for me. And then I've actually got full GI paralysis, So from the esophagus all the way down is pretty much paralyzed and doesn't work. Like the colon doesn't work and the stomach doesn't work and the esophagus doesn't work. So all of the GI, the motility, the digestive system is paralyzed pretty much.
That is nuts. So do you ever actually get to eat any food or taste it, or how does that work?
No, I don't. If I try, I get sick. So, occasionally, I get a craving for something, and you try to eat it, but you know what the outcome is going to be. So, you have to weigh your options. Do you want to get sick, or, do you want to taste that really bad, or do you want to get sick?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I've never dealt with this and I can't imagine it. I for one, don't really love food that much. And I think eating is mostly a nuisance. So in some ways I think, wow, what a blessing that you have. But I think it would be hard for me if I just was never able to eat. My wife would probably die. She just loves to eat. She like enjoys the pastime of it. But yeah, that would be tough. How did you contract the disease?
I picked up a virus probably when I was working in the medical field. And the virus attacked my vagus nerve, which is the nerve that controls pretty much everything in your body, your stomach movement, your arms, your legs, your sleep. It pretty much, your vagus nerve is the main nerve in your body. And if something happens to that nerve, then, it can affect different parts of your body. So my vagus nerve got attacked by a virus, and it killed off the stomach, the digestion, the entire GI tract. So that's how I contracted it. It was just a simple virus that attacked it.
That is crazy. For all of you guys listening, just think about, you're in a place where you're fulfilling your career in a hospital, really, in the medical profession. You think you're safe. It's the cleanest place, quote unquote, that you could ever get to. And that's where you end up contracting a disease that legitimately puts an end to you ever being able to eat food again. Like, that is crazy what's happened. And I guess this goes into the next question, though. Amanda, how have you chosen to let this happen for you rather than to you? Like, how have you chosen a positive outlook out of this unfortunate event?
Well, there's a lot of us out there that are fighting this disease. And I am not going to let this, for a couple of years, it knocked me down. I've had numerous feeding tubes in the stomach. I've had numerous ports. They've tried to feed me different ways. You know what? I take this and I turn it around, and I try to tell my story and get my story out there to let people know that there can be good that comes out of this. It doesn't all have to be negative. Yes, we all have our down days, and we all get tired, and we're all hungry, and we're all starving for a cure. But I try to turn this into a positive and let people know, there's a reason I am still here. There's a purpose for my life. I might not know what it is yet, and it might just to be sharing my story. That, look, I've had this for so long, but I can still keep going. I can try to live as normal as possible and still have a disease. It's not visible to the outside, but it's inside. And so I can share my story and tell them what is actually going on inside of my body. And when you look at me, you don't know that I'm sick or that I'm fighting an illness. But I'm not going to let that keep me down. I'm not going to keep that from me sharing my story and letting other people know that they can survive this too. We've got to keep up the fight. We've got to find a cure. and I'm not just gonna let it keep me down. It's knocked me down for a while, but I keep getting back up, and I've got a story to share.
Yeah, that's so incredible. I just think of I love what you said about, it's inside of you, it's not outward. When you think of like a religious, I don't know why my mind is going here right now, but the religious context of those people who are fasting, and they would wear they would basically wear all this dirt on them and sackcloth and ashes just to outwardly show that they were fasting, or outwardly show that they were mourning, rather than just kind of getting on with life. And I think that there's so much in our life that in the day-to-day life of people who have struggled with mental illness, or and I know my wife, right after we had our first child, struggled really bad with the postpartum depression and things like that. There's tons of people who are struggling on the inside, and from the outside, nobody knows. And
Exactly.
nobody ever will know unless we choose to be vulnerable and we choose to open up. And that takes a lot of faith and courage, as you've shown. But once you do open up, and I think you'd agree with this just because I've talked to you, but the amount of love and support that you get from opening up and actually allowing yourself to be seen and letting people know of your struggle, not only support, but it adds hope and belief for those around you that they can accomplish whatever they're struggling with. It might not be paralyzation of all the intestines, but it could be the same type of paralyzation emotionally of things inside of us.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, that's incredible. Thank you so much for sharing that. We're gonna dive into more into the mindset, because as you guys can see, she is absolutely positive. She just it just exudes from her. I wish that I lived in Florida. I could get to know you more and have you there in person, because then you'd be able to see her energy that's coming from this. But hopefully you can hear it through the podcast, just how absolutely positive she is. I'm curious, Amanda, what would you consider your greatest success to be in life?
The greatest success would be the ability to live somewhat of a normal life despite invisible illness and disabilities. I think that is one of my greatest successes right now, is that I can still get up, I can function, and make the best out of every situation. I think that is a great success.
Yeah, that's awesome. What's so interesting to me is that I'm sure that if I met you on the street, right, if we were just happened to run into each other somewhere and I had never known you before, not only would I not know that you have anything wrong, like medically wrong with you or anything, but I probably would think, man, that girl has no problems in her life, not even like no emotional stress, no nothing, because you're so positive and you just choose to look at things from an opportunity to grow and an opportunity to share, and think of how can, from me having this experience, how can I go and help other people with that? And I think that, I guess for me, I just think that you would have had to have an experience where somebody first believed in you. So I'd love for you to tell me the story of when you feel that somebody first believed in you.
This one is really hard for me because I deal with, insecurities and whatever. But when I first realized that someone actually believed in me, it could have been a doctor or family or someone, it felt like a relief. It felt like I was finally done fighting to have people believe me that this invisible illness that you can't see, that it's really real. No matter how small or big the issue might be, to hear somebody say, I believe in you, and you got to keep fighting, and you're worth more than what this disease is, or whatever is going on in your life. You just feel this sense of relief that somebody finally gets you, that somebody finally understands your fight and where you're coming from. It's just a sense of wow, that's a little bit of self-confidence that I've got this. You know, it's just a little bit of relief that somebody believed in me and somebody is willing to reach out their hands and help me through this life. And that's, I just felt a great sense of relief and, you know, a little bit of security.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, and then what's cool is that you've chosen to take that and go and share that now with other people, and you're going out and believing in other people with all the things you've been through. You know that how much that can change somebody's life, and so you're always out sharing and blessing other people's lives with the faith and hope and belief that you've gained through this experience. You're able to go and share that just like a lighthouse.
Right.
Yeah, it's incredible. You mentioned earlier that you had just gotten married when you found out about this. How can like family members and spouses support people who are struggling with some of these things that maybe are just purely internal, but not there's no like outward way to see that somebody's struggling, but they really are struggling? How can family members and spouses give that support?
It's really difficult. Actually, we got married in 2005, and I was perfectly healthy. And then in 2010 is when I got sick. So we were married for about 5 years before I got ill. But he was my complete rock. He was my backbone. He was my sounding board. You know, we would go to the doctors or the hospital, and, you know, he went to battle for me many of times. He was just the greatest support. And, you know, I live in Florida. I don't live near my immediate family. So, you know, it was kind of hard for them to understand exactly what I was going through because after I got the disease, we moved to Florida. It was hard for them to actually understand, you know, everything that was going on. But, you know, I had the greatest in-laws. I had the greatest husband, always there in the hospital to support me, to push me, to keep me going and to keep my faith in check. And, you know, he always told me that there was a reason that I got this and that I have a testimony. And every time I would go into the hospital and they would think that I was not going to make it, I had a story to tell that, yes, I am going to make it because I've got a fight in me and there's a higher power and God is behind me and he's not going to let me down. So I had a husband that pushed me to know and to trust in my faith that I knew that I was going to be okay. And, you know, he just kept telling me, you have a testimony, you have a story. You got to keep going. You've got to keep, you know, proving all these people wrong that you can do this and you can win this fight and you have a voice, and just be a witness to these people that God is good and he is not going to let you down. He's not going to fail you. He gave this disease to you so that you could be a witness to other people. And when other people look at you, they can see that you're positive and know that, you know, you believe in God. You believe that, you know, there is something greater in you. And maybe they want that. Maybe they're craving that. And so I was always pushed by him. He was just my biggest cheerleader.
That's so cool. I mean, it's so interesting how so many of us have experiences in life, and how we choose to deal with those experiences completely changes the trajectory and outcome of our existence, really. And there's some people who will go through experiences that are tragic, traumatic, very, very, very horrific things. And some of them will lose faith in God. They'll decide that there's no way that this could ever happen, or have been part of a plan, any plan. And then there's others who choose to dive deeper into their faith and choose to just look at the positives and take only the positives out of these experiences. And I think from what I'm hearing, that's really what you've done, is you've taken an experience that most people would think there's no positive thing about it, getting a disease, moving away from your family, right? And you've chosen to focus on all of the positives that you can possibly draw out of it, all the people who have served and helped you over the time. For those people who maybe didn't show as much understanding initially, rather than blaming them for that, that's not what comes through in the story. What comes through in the story is, they weren't able to understand fully what I was going through. They didn't have the opportunity, and it's such wisdom that I hope whoever's listening to this can understand. It's the small things that she's saying. It's the small phrases of reframing things in a positive light, having compassion for those around you, thinking and knowing that everything's for a reason. And those small changes in your life or in your vocabulary can shift the way you think, live, and act in your life. And you're just going to be happier. Even no matter what's happening, you're just going to be happier. And I'm curious for you, Amanda, if you would separate these two things. I asked you earlier, what was your greatest success? I'm curious, what do you feel like the hardest thing you've ever accomplished was?
Wow, that's a hard one. If I have to separate the two, probably back in January, my husband left me. Things just got really hard. Health conditions were worsening. It just became a real burden and really hard on him. But I have tried to overcome it by looking at it as, I can't blame him for leaving. I know it's hard to watch your loved ones suffer. And so I think me trying to come to terms and come to grips with that I am now, a single girl living with a disease, and being divorced. And that was one of the hardest things that I had to transition into, is going from being happily married, getting sick, and then getting divorced, and him always being my backbone, and me having to learn how to fight this on my own, how to move on and have forgiveness in my heart for him. So that's an accomplishment for me, is that I've forgiven him for leaving, and me gaining strength and being able to stand up on my own and being able to do this by myself.
That's just so incredible. I just need to put you on repeat. I'm glad I'm recording this so that I can. But again, it's in the small phrases that she's saying for you who are listening. It's in the small things. Notice that she doesn't at all become a victim. So often we want to become victims of our circumstances. We want to blame somebody else for what's happening to us in our life. And that doesn't come across. Even like the worst things are compounding over her life, and she's remaining positive. She's remaining full of love and understanding and compassion for everyone around her. And that is so incredible. It's mind-blowingly incredible of the amount of love that you've been able to show and develop inside yourself for all those around you, no matter what the circumstances. That you're able to just stay positive, stay focused on your purpose. And then looking at something as sad as a divorce. I've got a sister who's been divorced twice now, and it is hard to watch a family member suffer. that sister, she also has cancer, and it's hard to watch suffering happen from loved ones. And rather than choosing the way of looking at it as a victim, Amanda's able to take this and say, look, I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity to grow and to fight this on my own and to get stronger as an individual. And that is absolutely awe-inspiring. And so grateful for you being willing to get vulnerable and share that with us, Amanda, because it's I know that can't be easy.
No, not at all.
So it's been about a year, it sounds like. What do you feel like your next step is, as far as to share your message and bless more people's lives with who you are and who you've become? How are you planning on sharing that more widely?
I've looked into doing, a couple of mentorships. I would just love to get my voice out there. Our alliance for the gastroparesis group, we're actually going in March to Washington, D.C., to have our voices heard to Congress so that we're actually recognized. So I can't wait for that. That's something that is, really burning inside of me, so that we can get our story out there, so that we're actually recognized as a community, as people out there who need help. In March, a group of, us girls and guys are getting together, and we're going to Washington, and we're going to tell our story. And hopefully Congress will recognize who we are. And, for so long, this disease has been gone, there's just not a lot of research, and there needs to be more research. There are people dying every single day in our community with the same disease, and it hurts. There's people that are babies or teenagers or young adults, and some even older adults that are passing away, that it just shouldn't be. And we need to get our voices heard. We need to have Congress help us so that we can find a cure for this. They've come up with all kinds of treatments for cancer, for, all other ailments. But it's like, for us in our community, there's no cure, and there's no funding for it. So, to go to Washington to have Congress hear us and, get our story out there, and hopefully get some more research, because research is what we need. We need doctors and, people in the medical field to get where we're coming from and find a cure for this. I mean, we have medical technology, and why we are not out there, with people finding cures for us, I just don't understand, why we are not made a bigger deal out of than what we are. So my desire is to get out there, go to Congress, let them hear our story, and hopefully they will, find funding for us so that we can actually find a cure, whatever that might be. Just find a cure for us.
Right. Yeah, that is an awesome. I didn't know we're going to Washington. I think that's so. Again, it goes back to finding these cures, finding these things for the benefit of the whole community, to both men, women, children, elderly, anybody who's struggling with this, helping them get that information and getting your voice out there. I have a burning in my heart to share a message, and that's about building a legacy and creating a financial foundation that can actually hold up a legacy that they want. And so things that I've done, and this may be something you can think of or consider doing yourself, Amanda, as well. But podcasting, it's a great option. Obviously, that's what we're doing right now. But it's helping you be heard. Doesn't cost a lot of money anymore, which is fantastic. But podcasting, writing books, while you were talking, I was thinking, man, how cool would it be to have a movie made after you, made about your story, and things that you're able to accomplish. And I know that you're still young and you still have plenty of life to go and accomplish an incredible amount, not just for your community of people with the same disease, but also for others in general who are just looking for somebody who understands them. And just as you were saying, when somebody believed in you, somebody who understands with you and connects with the feelings of your heart and the concerns of your heart, and sharing those feelings and actually work towards a solution that can help a lot of people. Public speaking might actually be not too bad either for you if you can stomach it. They say it's the number one fear, but if your stomach's paralyzed, then at least you won't get in knots when you go.
True, right?
Right? I mean, then we'll find out really if that's all in the head or if it's an actual physical thing when people are able to get up and speak, because yours is paralyzed, so can't be in the stomach. But that's
it's
a real
definitely
thing.
Mental.
Say that again.
I said it's definitely mental.
It's definitely mental. Yeah, you can attest to that.
Yeah.
I just think, though, you're the type of person that I think any corporation, any group of people who are looking for a transformation in their life would be happy to get in front of, so that you could share your story and help people recognize, it's not all bad. Even when night or all of the light seems like it's the darkest, there's still so much positive out there. And your message is absolutely, I think it's perfect from a business standpoint. I think in business a lot, but it's that type of thing that can really fire people up and get them motivated. And as you said, a lot of it comes down to funding, right? Getting the right funding for the research, and being that there's not a lot of research, raising money can be a hassle, or can be part of the thing. And if you're able to go and share your story and from a result of that, get movements funded. I think of Mother Teresa a lot in this capacity, because she was able to have a mission, have a vision, have a passion, share that with others. And although herself was never super wealthy off of it, people from all over the world chose to support and fund her passion, because they knew and believed that in what she was doing. And I think that you could have that same impact and grow that same way by sharing your story with other people on social media and on podcasts and various places, to really just get out there, so more people will recognize the struggle that it is, and also the ways that they can help. And that's a huge thing. I think a lot of people want to help, but because they don't know how, then they just don't.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I'm curious, what would you say that your two favorite books are that you've read?
I've read a lot of books, and I'm actually reading one now, and it's called Beyond Positive Thinking. It's by Dr. Robert Anthony. And it's just a common sense, down to earth, down to layman's terms, something that anyone could understand. It's about achieving success in life, and it gives you step-by-step methods on how to be positive, how to have a positive visualization. And it gives you techniques on how to personalize your goals and how to trust in your goals. And stop limiting yourself from your goals or your dreams. So it's a really good, down-to-earth, positive thinking book. It's just learning your self-worth, learning to trust yourself, and that you can do this.
That's awesome. What was the name of that again?
It's called Beyond Positive Thinking. And it's by Dr. Robert Anthony.
Cool. Yeah, we're going to have that book, a link for that book in the show notes. I've never heard of it, so I'm going to have to check it out and get back to you how it is.
It is a really, really, really great book.
That's awesome. Yeah, we are we did a book review on Wednesday about a book called Mindset by Carol Dweck. And it's all about changing your mind from a fixed mindset where you're unwilling to grow, you don't think that there's possible for change, and more kind of like a self-pity type mindset, to a growth mindset where there's change, where there's blessings, there's gratitude, there's everything has a purpose. And I feel like that's really where your mindset has gone and transferred to. And so I'm excited to read this Beyond Positive Thinking book just to see how that's helped and impacted that transformation.
It's a really good book. I'm still reading it. I'm towards the end, but I mean, it's just a really great book. It's got a book and it's also got a workbook where you can, fill out your questions as you go through it, and it just kind of helps you to think, and then you can write your goals down, how you can achieve these goals. So that's a really good book. I really have enjoyed reading that book. How to get your self-worth, how to see yourself, how you'll be able to view yourself better, once you achieve your goals. You'll look at yourself completely different. I opened up this book feeling like no self-worth, like, just down about myself. And this totally gets you thinking, what more can I do? How can I stay positive? How can I, keep trying to achieve my dreams or my goals? And having an illness, it's kind of hard to get out there and achieve those. But, just to build up your self-worth, that's a lot. So that's a really good book. And another one that, I read every single morning, is called Jesus is Calling by Sarah Young. And it's just a devotional. It's an inspirational book, about how to find peace in your life and how to have the presence of God in your life, and how to let him guide you through whatever struggles in life that you're going through. So that's another one that I read every single day. And every single day I get something new out of that devotional.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, that's perfect. I love those. I'm gonna have to check those out. And I like the transformation that I'm seeing in you, and I'm excited to experience even more transformation in myself, because I definitely get caught in feelings of self-pity occasionally, and looking for ways out of my situation rather than to dig in and recognize that, hey, I was given this situation as a gift. How can I use it for the benefit of others? I'm curious for yourself. Let's say that you are sitting with somebody who's struggling with either a mental illness or a medical illness, something similar to you, and if they're maybe 4 or 5 years ago, where they're still down and out and struggling, what would be your counsel to them, and how would you help them see the light at the end of the tunnel and know that they could move past it?
I would tell them that they are not the only ones that are going through a trial or a struggle or an ailment. That there is light at the end of the tunnel. You have to have faith that greater things are going to come. It might be a long journey, and it might be hard. And some days you might feel like you can't do it. But you have to keep fighting. You have to know that there's someone out there fighting for you and that is pushing you for greater. And do not let your trials or your struggles bring you down to a breaking point, because I have been there. When I first got diagnosed, I didn't feel like I could go on. I felt like I was just taking up space in this big world. Like, why leave me here to do this? You know, why should I have to suffer through this? But why not me? There's a story to be told. You need to realize that you're not the only one that is going through something, and there is a bright side, whether it be your family coming together, or friends that you've drifted away from, and they come back, or there's many trials in life, and there's always, you always have to find that there is a positive, there's something positive that comes out of something negative. God gives some of the hardest battles to his strongest soldiers. And I firmly believe that there is a fight, and you have to fight it. And you have to learn that there are people that love you, and you have cheerleaders, and you have people that are there to push you. And you have to look up to those other people that are cheering you on, because they love you and they want to see the best for you. So I would just tell them that they have to keep going, that I know that the struggle is real. I know that times are hard, but there is a light. There is hope. Have faith that something good is going to come out of it.
I completely agree, and I couldn't have said it better myself. I think it's so cool to see that and hear that coming from you, just because I know it's real. I know that I can feel the energy, even though we're across the United States from each other. I can feel your passion and your love for anybody who would be in that situation, just as if you were sitting right there with them. And so exciting. I hope that everybody takes the time to go in and connect with her on Instagram, on Facebook, and get to know her. Reach out to her, message her, and she's very willing to talk to people. And only do it if you're going to do kind things. Don't say anything mean to her, or I'll have to. No, no, but everybody could benefit from knowing Amanda, and knowing how to share and how to get in a vulnerable position of love and unity. I'm curious. This is a final question. Is there anything that you wanted to share that you haven't got to share yet?
No, not really. Just all I can really say is just keep going, just keep pushing, believe in yourself. Don't give up the fight. Just keep going. My legacy might be completely different from anyone else's legacy. Some people have legacy as, leaving behind millions of dollars for their family. My legacy would be a legacy of not giving up despite challenges. Faith in knowing and encouraging other people. How you conduct your life and how you leave it behind. I want people to see ripples. I want people to see impact. I want people to remember me as I tried my best. I got my story out. I lived the best life that I could live, and I tried my best. And that's my legacy. I want people to see that I had a fighting spirit, and that, I looked up to other people and got encouraged by other people. And I want people to know that they can always reach out to me I want to be, a soundboard for other people. Reach out to me if you've got a problem, if you just want to talk, or, it doesn't matter if you've got the same disease that I have or not. We all have an ailment, and we're all fighting in this world. And there is a lot of negativity in this world, but do not let it get to you. You've got to find peace in something, and there's always something greater out there, and you just can't let this world get you down. So my legacy would be, I want to leave an impact on other people.
That's awesome. And I know you will. You've left an impact on me. We spoke first, I don't know, it's probably been 6 or 7 months ago, but even though we aren't always in constant contact, I think of you often, and I share your story with other people that I meet, because it's just so inspiring and incredible to me. I'm so grateful that we're able to have you on the podcast here, Fueling Your Legacy. I think one of the things that, as I've said earlier this week in my podcast, this mindset shift, this ability to look at things with gratitude, it's the ignition to everything else in your life. It's what ignites your dreams. It's what ignites your passion, and helps you understand and believe that there's something better out there, and that you can achieve something. Just like Amanda's going to let her voice be heard in Washington, D.C., but I think that will just be the beginning. She's going to have a much stronger voice in way more places, just because of sharing her story here and other places on Facebook and different places that she's able to share that. So I'd like for you, Amanda, if you can just say how they can get a hold of you, say your full name, what it is on Facebook and Instagram, so these people can reach out to you and connect with you.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook as Amanda Stewart Jakubowski. Do you want me to spell that?
Yeah, spell that.
Okay, it's Jakub as in boy, Owski. And also on Instagram, I am, my username is ASMJ, but they can also look me up as Amanda Stewart Jakubowski on there as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We've tried for weeks now, I feel like, to be able to have you get on the podcast, but what wasn't shared here on the podcast too much is, although she seems very happy, she's in the doctor's office multiple times a week. She's constantly going through different things, and it's been a struggle to even schedule it because of the health challenges that she's still going through. And I'm just so grateful that we were able to finally get this story and share it with everybody. The hope and the light and the faith and the love that you bring into this world and share. It's just incredible. So thank you so much, Amanda.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Perfect. So everybody, if you guys can comment and review the podcast, you can find this at Fueling Your Legacy on Facebook. You can find it at Fueling Your Legacy on Instagram. You can also find me at Samuel Knickerbocker on Facebook and Instagram, or Sam Knickerbocker. Just feel free to reach out, and if you'd like to get in contact with her, reach out to her. I know her story can help, and she is willing to speak with you and help you learn more about this situation and how you might be able to have an impact and help the mission of finding a cure move along. So thank you so much, and we'll catch you next time on Fueling Your Legacy. Thanks for joining us today. If what you heard resonated with you, please like, comment, and share on social media. Tag me so I can give you a shout out on the next episode. And thanks to all those who have left a review. It helps spread the message of what it really takes to build a legacy that lasts. Catch you next time on Fueling Your Legacy.